The term proportional editing refers to the ability of an edit to affect not only the selected element, but also those elements that are positioned nearby. This is of most use when we are working in edit mode, but it can also be employed in object mode. To demonstrate the effect, we'll start with a block of small cubes. Let's select a cube near the middle of the group and move it in the Z direction. As we would expect, only the selected cube moves. The others remain unaffected. We'll press Ctrl-Z to undo the move. The proportional editing option is activated by the rightmost icon of the group at the top center of the 3D viewport. The icon turns blue when it's triggered. It can be toggled on and off by either clicking on the icon or by pressing the O key. Now, let's select the same cube as before and try making the same move. As we move the selected cube, others around it start to move too, but to a lesser degree. You should also notice a circle centered on the selected object. Although it shows as a circle, it's really a sphere. The size of the circle determines the sphere of influence over surrounding objects. Elements nearer the center are affected more than those on the periphery. We can adjust the size of the circle using the mouse wheel. The larger it is, the more of its surroundings it influences. Returning to the icon, there's a drop-down selection which adjusts the overall shape created by the move. Making a change here won't affect the existing movement pattern, but it will affect subsequent ones. For the moment, we'll just look at one other option, constant. We'll press Ctrl-Z to undo the last move, then move our cube again. This time, those cubes that are influenced move exactly the same distance as the selected cube. In the last op panel, we can make final adjustments to the move. The only thing that is new is that the proportional editing box is checked by default. It's normally unchecked, and this gives us a few more options. Proportional falloff is a duplicate of the drop-down menu in the 3D viewport, but this time it affects the current move. As we switch through the various options, we can see how this affects the overall shape created by the moving cubes. The graphic beside each option gives some indication of the profile of the shape that Blender is trying to produce. Note that the random option moves the affected cubes by a random amount in all of the directions specified by the move operation, but these values are never more than the movement of the originally selected element. Proportional size adjusts the size of the sphere of influence. Connected is an option that is relevant only when working in edit mode. When checked, this option disables any effects on elements that are not part of the same mesh as the original selected element. We'll talk about this in more detail in a later video. Projected extends the sphere of influence along the line of our viewpoint. We can think of it as casting a spotlight, and this affects any elements in that area. And if we uncheck the proportional editing box, the proportional editing is removed from the result. Although almost all use of proportional editing involves movement, it does also work for scaling. Again, the proportional falloff setting will affect how items are scaled. Apart from the constant and random options, elements towards the edge of the sphere of influence are less affected than those near its center. Rotation is also affected by proportional editing, as we can see from the examples here. A last point to note is that any hidden objects are unaffected by proportional editing. We'll select a few of the cubes, hide them, and then move our usual cube. When we unhide the cubes, we can see that, although they were within the sphere of influence, they remain in their original position.